The campaign for a higher minimum wage got a boost recently from Mayor Walsh. In his State of the City address, he called for a task force of different stakeholders to explore raising the minimum wage in Boston to $15 an hour. Our guest is one of the leaders in the campaign, a McDonald's worker and a National Organizing Committee member in Fight for 15, Darius Cephas. Thank you very much for being with us, Darius. First of all, it's been a long campaign getting to this point. Talk about what it was for you to get started in this, because you must have, you're sticking your neck out. People can give you a hard time at the workplace.
Well, being the fact that I started doing this for about 2.5, 3 years almost, same amount of time I've been working at McDonald's. It lets me know the fact that McDonald's and other major fast food corporations are not going to listen to us. And they're not going to do what's right on their own. So it's better if we mobilize and get organized and let people know that we're standing together in solidarity across the United States and across the globe even. And we're not taking it no more. We can't tolerate working for cheap and working days in and days out, hand to mouth, check to check. We can't do that. And that's a lot for a lot of us to handle. Whether it be we have children, whether it be we have food to pay for, whether it be we can't afford Section 8, so we go market rent, and we can't afford market rent, so we're stuck going back and forth.
Talk about what people do at your workplace, because a lot of people say, well, it's cheap labor work, it's not skilled work, but getting the job done. What does that take?
I can name a bunch of occasions where you wouldn't want to clean up. Like, we clean up blood. We clean up, like, people go to number 2 in the bathroom and it's smeared all on the walls. I don't know why people do it, but people have done it. We clean up throw-ups from people throwing up and passing out on the floors. We basically are the front lines of everything that McDonald's is saying to people, that, oh, McDonald's is this great place and all this other stuff. They treat their workers fairly. They don't. They refuse to give us the proper equipment to take care of these other things we have to clean up. And if we do have the proper equipment, it's somewhat not our jobs to clean up someone else's blood spatter on the walls. We can get sick from that. And not having the right materials to do it will cause it more work. It's more on top of everything else. I picked up needles off the ground and cleaning the parking lot. These are things people even younger than me should not be seeing. But you got 17, 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds cleaning this stuff up.
Well, the plan here is you'd like the city to have a minimum wage of $15 an hour for certain kinds we're not talking about mom and pop businesses here. We're talking about big chain
businesses, yeah. Because of the simple fact that they can afford it. They can spend $10 billion and they could spend $30 billion in 10 years to buy back their own stock, but they can't spend some of that money to take care of their workers that worked for them for years upon end. People worked 20 years for McDonald's, made a career out of working for McDonald's, and they still ain't received 1 cent of a raise.
And this is different from a union campaign, because in a union campaign, you're doing it at one employer, but I guess if you have this across the board, that means McDonald's won't be any worse than their competition.
Yeah. They need to understand that, being the fact that they lead the business in fast food right now, and they're the leaders of it, they need to come to the table and explain and talk with us, have a conversation, understand your workers are working hard, and they do what they're supposed to do, and they deserve $15 in a union. That's what we deserve. We work hard. We do what we're supposed to do. We come to work on time. We don't complain. We take on our home business and the work business as well. And nobody complains. The fact is now that workers in the past 4 years complain more time than a worker who's been at McDonald's 10 years. We're getting more said now than we would have gotten 5, 10 years ago. We're getting more done now.
What did you feel the other night when the mayor said he was going to try to set up this task force?
I'm very excited about it. I feel as though it's a great idea. It lets me know that he's with us and he understands that no one can survive with $8, $10, $11 even. $15 should be the minimum for all states. And to be honest, it makes me feel proud. It makes me feel like my voice is being heard, that my fellow workers' voices are being heard, and that Boston and the state of Massachusetts will be able to succeed and get to where we need to be and be at the economy level that we're trying to portray so well.
Of course, the other thing going on is that people who work in fast foods right now maybe eventually they might want to work at some place that's different. And they might also want to go to school for a while.
Yeah, that's all understandable, but at the same time, if you go to a college, I know people with master's degrees that work in McDonald's. It really wouldn't matter if you go to school for years upon end. We have to have jobs that's available for people in those fields. And right now we don't. And the only jobs they're hiring are fast food jobs. So at least fast food jobs should have some work, somewhat of an ethnicity for its fellow workers, somewhat of a guideline saying that, yes, we can do healthcare benefits. Yes, we can take care of this and that, and you can take maternity leave because you're pregnant. You don't have to be at work the next 2-3 days from after giving birth.
Because the other thing I see here is there's a bigger picture to this. Look around the country, what's going on. Some other cities they've really progressed down this road at $15 an hour.
Yeah, New York got 15 an hour. California has 15 an hour. Seattle has 15 an hour. So it's possible, it's been proven, and societies are moving along. So the thing is, we're trying to get everybody on that same page and understanding that it's affordable. We need to bring McDonald's to the table and let them know that they can afford it. We know they can afford it. So let's get on and move on to bigger and better plans.
Well, part of your plan is to get more workers involved in this. So if they want to find out about the campaign, what's the best way for them to do that?
Best way to find out about the campaign, you can go to the Fight for 15 website, or we're going to every McDonald's and every stores. You would see one of us anywhere. Talk to any one of your workers, anybody that's involved in fast food, because we want more people to acknowledge the fact that we are people and we work hard and we deserve 15 in the union. As for the mayor, I want a seat at that table for the task force. I really do. I want fast food workers to have a say at that table because it's us. At the same time, we understand that a lot of other people are trying to help us, but we need to help each other as well.
Thank you very much for being with us.
No
Darius
problem,
Cephas
sir. Thank you.
from
Thank you for having me.